Hi, so welcome today to my discussion on the knob attack, CVE 2019-9506. So what is the knob attack? Why does it matter? And why am I showing you a JBL Bluetooth speaker? Well, in fact, the knob attack affects anything that's related to Bluetooth. It is something that probably impacted you, or it could have, we don't know. So the knob attack can subject any Bluetooth connection, any Bluetooth device to the same kind of issue and the same kind of issue with their protocol. So let's get back to what is Bluetooth and why does this matter in this conversation. So Bluetooth is just a standard wireless protocol for smart things and smart devices to allow two communications to essentially communicate without the use of Wi-Fi, cellular, whatever. So if you're connecting your watch to the speaker to play music at a party, there's a ton of different use cases involved in music, or on a car driving with CarPlay. So Bluetooth kind of runs in and out of our lives, and we know how to use it. We use it on our phones all the time. You're supposed to disable Bluetooth on flights, so there's a lot of different things you do with Bluetooth, and this is one thing that's kind of targeted this ecosystem. So who developed Bluetooth and why was this created? So it is managed by a trade association called SIG, and it has 12,000 members from telecoms, computing, automotive, apparel, industrials, everything. So Bluetooth is, as you can see, Bluetooth is relevant from companies like GE to Ford to Apple to Google. And its board right now is with the largest tech companies in the world, such as Microsoft, Apple, Bose, Intel, Nokia. So some pretty important people are pumping resources into this to make sure that this continues to be a good ecosystem and a good protocol to communicate on. So what is wrong with this protocol right now and what could go wrong? So the key thing right now that's of subject matter of concern is the encryption key negotiation protocol, which is conducted between two parties as follows. So some initiator proposes an entropy value, n, or some type of between 1 and 15, determining the number of bytes that is going to be its encryption key. So when this party says, you know what, I want to have one encryption key, like a byte of 1, it could influence the other one to say, well, I have to agree on that. So they can either drop it or negotiate or change it. So this negotiation protocol is to make sure both of them agree on the security standards for this connection. And right now, or what it was, is this was really low. And here's some vulnerabilities that are kind of related to this issue. So the Bluetooth protocol allowed entropy values that could be negotiated as low as 1 byte. So this is a number that can be lower than 256, which is meaning very easy to brute force and hack. And it is neither, with the nature of a Bluetooth connection, that is neither encrypted nor authenticated, that this could definitely bring some challenges, and especially since the host OS has no concept of what the Bluetooth controller is configured to. So you don't know what they want. You don't know if they're configured to 1 byte, to 7 bytes. We don't know. We just connect to it, and we negotiate with that to determine the amount of bytes that we should be making our encryption on. So where does the problem come from this? So let's go back to a diagram. So this type of negotiation could really be subjected to a man-in-the-middle attack. So when Alice and Bob are trying to connect and negotiate on entropy, a third guy could hop in and say, you know what, we're going to make the entropy 1. So then they could cause both parties to really have a low encryption key, and Charlie could easily brute force it and gain access to that connection, and therefore gain access to both of their the information on both of those devices. So this attack would usually materialize in a number of stages. So this is happening while Alice and Bob, as we saw in the earlier diagram, are pairing in absence of Eve or someone else. So then they initiate this secure connection, and then Charlie decides, you know what, we're going to make the victims negotiate an encryption key within 1 byte of entropy. So you know what, maybe you guys want to be secure, but for me, I don't care. We're going to make you guys both insecure so that I can hack in. So Charlie eavesdrops on the ciphertext and brute forces the key in real time. So it's not too complex to hack, but it's pretty effective and can get you a lot of information pretty quickly. So what can attackers do with these capabilities? They can spy on data transmitted between two devices, manipulate or intercept encrypted Bluetooth data, or interject commands or monitoring keystrokes. So this means there are a lot of implications that could happen if an attacker gets access to your phone, your watch, or whatever with the stream. On the bright side, though, this type of hack can only be done one time at a time. So once this connection expires, they have to hack again. So it is something they get access permanently to. But once they get access to these commands and such, it's easy for them to add in a certain type of malware, a certain type of thing, so they can have a backdoor to your phone. So overall, this is kind of scary. Some individual could have been spying on your phone the past 2 years, whether it be the NSA or a friend, or I don't know. So if you have any hacker friends, and there are some other consequences of manipulating or intercepting this Bluetooth data. Often this data is really important, and especially in like industrials and in some industries. So if you're doing this, you could be causing some grave things to happen in the background. So overall, there's some pretty powerful things you can do with this protocol, and what we don't know what people have been doing it with before though. So this was discovered in November of 2018. So you might find this kind of weird. If you Google right now, knob attacks, all the articles are from this past August. So this is something that just surfaced in the news and people just started talking about. But this problem has been diagnosed a while before for numerous reasons, and it was done by a team out of the Singapore University of Technology Design, led by Daniel Antinoli. So he was coupled with Niels Tiepenhauer and Casper Rasmussen. So all these guys have a significant background in cybersecurity, and they found this attack and built a website called knobattack.com to really display all the things they know about it, and also connect it to the important people to make sure that fixes were being implemented quickly before the consequences got too big. So with the consequences, we don't really know actually. So the impact, we knew it affected all devices that spoke Bluetooth. So they conducted tests on more than 17 Bluetooth chips and 24 devices back in November 2018 and found every single device shared this vulnerability. So this is both a software and a hardware problem, and they found that both sides were kind of subjected to the same thing. So over 1 billion devices were put at risk, and including your iPhone, your iPad, your Google Pixel, any chip you're using, they all had the same issue with Bluetooth connections. So this is kind of problematic. This is something that affected probably over 1 billion people with at a given time. So whether it's someone did something, we don't know. And the official opinion of the Bluetooth SIG is that there is no evidence that a vulnerability has been exploited maliciously. And to be fair, it's probably hard to tell. So how would you figure out that someone was eavesdropping on your phone, was installing that and taking your data, was listening to messages on your watch or whatever? So this kind of information is really confined, and we don't really know where to go next, since with this type of hack, it's pretty easy to do quick and to get in and out. So this might have been something going on before, but with the policy of the professors, they acted in the best of the public interest and first notified the manufacturers to start resolving things. But we don't know who was affected beforehand and between the time that they added this in. So overall, while they might say this, I'm sure there's some people who might have been affected this, and someone who might found this out before the professors did. So now that we are at this stage and we know that there's a problem that happened, and this is something that happened. So when the professors found out this issue, they contacted all the major players that might have some type of issue involved. So they went to Microsoft, Apple, Google, BlackBerry. They went to the SIG to start figuring out how can we fix this. Like, this is a really bad problem, and if we don't solve this soon, there could be millions of people who's getting hacked, getting their information stolen, identities. There's a lot of information that flows between Bluetooth devices. Like, for example, with my Apple Watch, it has my messages, my credit card information. So even with that, if they can manipulate that relationship, they could have a lot of encrypted data and decrypt it and figure out what I was paying with and steal stuff. So there's a lot of different ways that you can affect this, and especially when a technology so large, the impact could have been huge, at least if they hadn't resolved a lot of it. So they added some software fixes to ensure that they're not allowing their software to be negotiated down to that type of encryption level. And then on Bluetooth, on their side, they decided, well, we're going to make it that the minimum encryption key length has to be 7 octets, so that you can't just say, you know what, we're going to have a one byte encryption key. So this is something that I think definitely had an impact in making it more secure and made it impossible kind of to brute force in real time. But the downside is that this is only impacting for new technologies and new softwares. So if you're in a legacy device or something that's been around for a while, you don't necessarily have this fix. So there's millions of devices out there that haven't been updated since late 2018 that still communicate with another device that hasn't been updated since late 2018. And now that this information is in the public, how to do this, there could be some people who are losing information, losing stuff. So overall, this isn't a resolved issue. While we'd like to think that for us, those who own newer devices, this has been relatively resolved, there's likely some other issues that could probably come up. But for people with older devices, this solution has not solved their problem, and they could still be subjected to vicious cyber attacks or getting information stolen. So the moral of the story is just try to update your software, make sure that you've been updating since 2018 or if next time you connect to a Bluetooth thing, someone else could be listening in or dropping into your device. So here are my sources. There's some really good sources I'd recommend you to explore if you're interested more in this problem. So if you want to see what the authors said, go to knobattack.com. They list all the different resources they looked at, all the people citing this, and all the people talking about this in the news right now, plus their thesis, their papers, their slides. So they provided a lot of material and resources to explain why this matters, what they did, and how it works. So I'd really recommend that. And then there's a lot of text around the space that just talking about why this is an issue and then how this could affect you. So definitely something that's important and definitely a very, very significant vulnerability that was exposed very recently. So I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you learned something today. Thank you.